These two grown men had never seen The Simpsons. How the fuck's that even happen? They're two grown men on a mission now, so buckle up and just strap in.
Now listen, people, what I'm telling you. I'll keep away from a runaround Sue. Yeah, my missing lips and the smile on her face, the touch of her hand this girl's warm embrace.
Two grown men had never seen The Simpsons. It's America's barley basket.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of America's Barley Basket. I'm your host, Marlon Wells, alongside host Nathan Volsabach. Hello, Nathan.
Hello, Marlon.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Let's get that energy up.
Yeah. I'm okay.
All right, there we go.
Ooh,
that was a little Paul Stanley in
right?
there.
Yeah. Wow.
Little.
We're gonna party tonight.
It's my oozy ooze.
I love Kiss because they don't party. They're very teetotally type people.
Yep.
So them trying to act like they're party bros is always good.
Yeah.
You guys gonna drink
Like
liqueurs? Ooh.
You want cold gin?
Yeah,
no,
no,
Paul.
never,
Nobody
ever.
drinks cold
That's-
gin.
Yeah, like that's like a Mad Libs. Like if Mormons were gonna try to write a rock and roll
Yeah.
song, it's like, well, we got to have a fucking adjective for the beverage.
Or like, I want to rock and roll all night
Yeah.
and party every day.
Got that in the wrong order.
Like, man, imagine, like, nothing says I don't rock and roll or party like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kiss.
Oh man, their hopelessness is endearing. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? It kind of is. We get some Kiss in this batch of episodes. How you been, bud? We're
I'm
back
okay.
in Fargo for this one. We're not at a La Quinta.
Yeah, not Hollywooding it.
Yeah, Hollywood
I hope.
at a La Quinta
I
Inn.
hope the big city living doesn't change me. I hope I'm still the small town boy that this podcast has grown to know.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope the city doesn't get its claws in you too bad, brother.
I start having demands.
Got a rider.
Yeah, I gotta edit my voice so it's deeper, more sumptuous.
Oh God! Please no.
So episode 14 of The Simpsons.
God damn, it takes so many filters I gotta put his voice through. We tripled the length of the post production that I gotta do
That's all we can do, sir.
on this goddamn podcast. Shit.
What's the podcast about again?
That'd be The Simpsons.
Oh shit, The
allegedly,
Simpsons. Yeah,
on fucking paper, it's about The Simpsons.
During tax time, we
Yeah,
gotta get
yeah.
all ducks in a row. We file under Simpsons podcast. File.
Yeah, like we file shit.
With all the money we're making.
Yeah, so far a grand total income
Drum roll.
$0.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Man, I've been writing checks assuming this would start paying off eventually.
Long John Silver's won't sponsor us.
God,
What are
man.
we supposed to do?
Come on. Pay us in
Hush
fucking
puppies.
Hush puppies, man.
Just
Like
give us hush puppies.
fucking walleye fail. Ain't serving walleye. Tilapia fingers.
Yeah,
or
whatever mystery fish you got in there.
Some kind of Monsanto monster fish.
I bet that's some sort of amalgamation of fishes. That's the hot dog
That's
of
like-
fish.
Yeah, a lot of broken gills.
It's a lot of spares.
Yeah.
Trash fish.
Ground up dorsal fin.
I had some very good shrimp yesterday. Speaking
Really?
of seafood, yeah, here in town.
Where'd that come from? Restaurant or cook yourself?
Restaurant.
Oh.
The Oasis over in West Fargo used to be Boulevard.
Okay.
Now it's
Yeah.
the Oasis. It's like an Asian fusion, mostly seafood kind of joint. Real good shrimp.
Yeah, just midday shrimp, or you doing evening? Was this fancy?
No, this is a lunch shrimp.
Lunch shrimp.
Yeah.
There you go.
Middle of the day shrimp. Shrimp po' boy.
Yeah.
It was great.
Just you a cocktail shrimp guy?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Oh, fuck, I like a cocktail
It's
shrimp.
pretty rare. I prefer a hot shrimp to a cold shrimp.
Yeah.
But I do prefer a naked shrimp to a breaded shrimp, so I'm in for like a shrimp scampi
Yeah, I like a scamp.
or a pasta, a shrimp with pasta.
I'll buy a Walmart ring, a basic bitch shrimp cocktail.
We know.
Just fucking take it right to the dome, setting on my chest.
Oh.
Just fucking hot lunching that cocktail shrimp.
Every time I walk in the grocery store, walk past the fucking cooler that has the big rings of cocktail shrimp, I think of you
Yeah, so
eating it with no shirt
Let your
on.
body warm it up.
Oh,
Get
God.
them cocktail shrimp at room temp.
Melt it with your body
Yeah.
heat.
Jesus Christ. Coming home and seeing a writhing sleeping bag all zipped up on your living room floor, and you for some reason are courageous enough to unzip unzip it, and it's a large nude man eating cocktail shrimp.
Oh,
It's exactly what it looks like.
this is what I wanted to do today.
And then they just slowly zip it back up. If you'll excuse me.
He's not even dipping in the cocktail sauce.
Go back.
He's just drinking it.
Oh, fuck.
You got the cocktail sauce off to the side on the rocks.
Yeah, you do it like you're doing like a tequila shot.
Yeah.
Like just cramming 6 shrimp down your throat and chasing it with cocktail sauce.
I was not criticized, but questioned at least when I was having my shrimp just the other day. I was dipping my fries in the cocktail sauce. Is that weird?
A little weird.
A little weird?
Nah, just little, though.
I mean, cocktail sauce is just ketchup and horseradish.
It's just horse stuff. Yeah, it's just, good, super powered.
It's just diesel ketchup is all it is.
Yeah.
I don't see any issue with it.
I wouldn't I'd be like, oh, look at you. And that'd be the end.
But you wouldn't slap my
Yeah,
hand.
I want to go sit somewhere else. Go finish that in the car, you fat bitch. You're making me sick. This is a fine establishment. What have you sullying it with your...
Holy shit. Sitting somewhere else in that restaurant and seeing you slap my hand and say, finish that in the car, you fat bitch, and then move to a different table.
I'm clearly aggravated. You just sadly get up and take the shrimp to the car.
How confused is the server?
Yeah. It's happened before.
He just brings my bill out to the car. I assume this won't be together.
And you're sad handing over your... Like you're the one that did something wrong. I told him on the way here.
Sir, I'm going to need that plate back.
You're holding with cupped hands a bunch of shrimp tails. I should have kept them on the plate.
Pouring the ramekin of cocktail sauce into my open palm.
Like you didn't get enough already.
I'm sorry.
Is this good? It looks like it. It's clear that you really enjoy it.
Got cocktail sauce all over the car. Dashboard all red. Shrimp grease everywhere.
Tear the ceiling liner out.
Wiping my greasy shrimp hands on my pants.
I'm just furious, just steaming driving out of there. Get a shrimp in your goddamn hair. Oh, good. I didn't tell you that as it was good news.
Luckily, I got some more cocktail sauce in my pocket. Oh, God. But yeah, boy, I bet you could make a pretty decent Bloody Mary with cocktail sauce, now that I think about it.
Fuck yeah, but you could.
Uh-huh. Maybe you just need like a dollop or two in there along with the tomato juice.
Yeah, that sounds like a treat.
All right, now we're listening.
Yeah, take some notes.
Put some shrimp in there. You know how people doll up a fucking Bloody
I would
Mary
have
with
no
a bunch
problem
of
with
shit.
that.
Yeah.
That's a accoutrement I would not mind at all.
Shrimp
with my
cocktail bloody shrimp.
Yeah, bloody shrimps.
I don't like how that sounds.
Yeah,
We'll workshop that.
it's out of a. Always has to be served out of a shoebox lined with a grocery bag.
I thought you were going to say out of a plastic shrimp ring.
Oh my God, eating food out of a shoebox is ridiculous. You better hope there's no holes in that grocery bag.
With a fucking grocery bag at the bottom. Oh, God.
So again, yes, we've often claimed that this is a Simpson podcast.
Right, yes.
We're in season 25.
Boom.
Look at that. We just peeled back the freshness label.
Just barely.
Yeah,
and it was not good.
No,
what we saw
very
so far.
lackluster Homeland episode.
Like we said last week, though, I bet if you loved Homeland, maybe you like that episode.
You
I
got
don't
those
know.
References. But what that means is we get to start the episode off with this episode off remix with season 25, episode 2, Treehouse of Horror 24.
Seems early in the season for this.
Yeah, must have been one of those, where they started a little later.
I mean, it aired in October, first weekend of October, so, whatever.
We get an opening that was really unique, and I had to look into it. Created and directed by Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah,
which makes total sense because eventually it's all his.
It's all his.
And I mean,
stuff.
it's like the deep stuff, like that Cronus, like some of the early stuff that he did. Like
I've never seen Cronus. Have you seen Cronus?
No, I've heard it's good.
Yeah, likewise.
I've seen Devil's Backbone. That's
I've never seen that. Was that represented here?
I think there's a spooky kid.
Okay.
There's a spooky kid at one point. I've never seen the big monsters fighting robots movie he did. Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim's good.
Really fun. I've heard that's a fun movie.
It's kind of big, dumb fun. It's fun to watch Charlie Hunnam fuck up his American accent through the whole movie.
Really?
You could tell that it's tough for him to keep his English accent under wraps. I thought he did much better at that on Sons of Anarchy, but he struggles with it for some reason in Pacific Rim. It slips out a lot.
You know that Charlie Hunnam dude? He was in the next project that the guys that created Freaks and Geeks did.
Oh, really?
There was another. This was going to be on. It was a Fox show, and so Freaks and Geeks was high school based.
Yeah.
This was college. I think it was called Undeclared.
Yep.
Yeah. And I remember the critics liked it, and they pushed the shit out of it. I don't know if anyone on that show went on to become famous, but
no idea.
Yeah. Well, he did. He did. Yeah.
That movie, Pacific Rim. I haven't seen it since I saw it in the theaters, but I remember really liking it in the theaters. I like big dumb kaiju shit, though.
Yeah, and that's a movie that you want to see in the theater too, with that kind of big spectacle.
I also like that we got Blade 2 represented in this opening bit. People forget that was a Guillermo joint.
A good movie.
I like Blade 2. That's
I like Blade 3.
That might. As do I.
Yeah,
Blade 2 might be my favorite Blade movie.
I think a lot of people, but say that. But God, the first one's good.
First Blade is very good. Yeah. Who's that dude that plays Deacon Frost?
Stephen Dorff.
There you go. Yeah. He's good in that. Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill. Yeah. It's such a good phrase. But yeah, 2 is weird. 2 has like the mutant vampires.
Yeah.
That's where that like split open mouth
can only feed on other vampires.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
I think Patton Oswalt is in that.
That sounds right. Yep.
And what's his name from Walking Dead and Boondock Saints?
Oh yeah, I can't think of the actor's name. I could picture him.
I think he's in that.
And the premise is that they somehow found like this ancient vampire DNA strain, and they thought they'd create like a new race of vampires that would like take over mankind. But then it turns out those vampires can only feed on vampires.
Okay, that sounds right.
Because they're like, because they go to him, they go to Blade for help, and he's like, "Fuck you
guys!
How about they just eat you?" And then finally it's like, who do they come after when they eat all the vampires?
Right.
So they realize, oh, this is a problem.
Ron Perlman is in that too. I love Ron Perlman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a fucking good movie. Yeah. And 3 also, I remember being perfectly fine.
Well, perfectly fine is a proper way to do it.
It's got Triple H in it.
Yeah. A pre-superstar Ryan Reynolds.
Yep.
Jessica Biel.
So a ton of fucking horrifying like Apple's ad placement.
Oh, really? Yeah, you're right.
With the iPod.
Yeah. Hit and play and showing you what they're hitting play on.
A lot of Jessica Biel making playlists in her iTunes. A little cringy, but has Guillermo missed? Has he made a bad movie? Not one that I've seen anyway.
He made a Crimson something. Like a kind of a haunted house movie.
Okay.
And it was just Crimson Peaks or something like that. It was just fine.
Okay.
But not bad. I don't think he's ever had a dud.
Yeah.
But like that movie's like, holy fuck, people have to see this, but it was still perfectly fine.
I like Pan's Labyrinth and the Hellboy movies.
Yeah. I liked the one where the lady fucks the fish dude.
Oh yeah, Fish Bang.
Yeah, Fish Bang.
I like Fish Bang.
Fish Bang 2 still banging.
Still fishing.
Yeah, part them gills.
License to gill.
Oh my god.
For a movie about a lady that bangs a fish, it's real good.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It really captures what that must be like.
It won Best Picture.
Yeah, right. Yeah, a movie where a woman fucked a fish man.
Yeah, Best Fixture.
Yeah. Best aquatic feature. So The Simpsons,
Right.
it's a show we sometimes watch. Since it's a Treehouse of Horror, that means we're going to do a 3-parter as usual.
Is that how this works?
Yeah.
Okay.
First one's Oh, the Places You'll Go. It's a twisted parody of the Dr. Seuss children's book. Fun fact, did you know that Dr. Seuss did not pronounce his last name Seuss?
Oh, really?
He if you asked him, what's your last name?
Seuss?
It's Seuss.
Oh.
Pronounced like voice.
Okay.
Dr. Seuss. But they mispronounced it. Like when people would ask the book publisher, oh, it's Seuss. And then the books were like wildfire. And at that point, he's just a man in a crowd hollering.
Took off,
like,
yeah.
Wait a second.
Yeah, we've been calling her Mila Jovovich this whole time, and that's not how you say her name.
How do you pronounce her name?
I think it's Mia Jovovich. I think it's a soft J
And a soft L.
and a soft L.
Interesting. So we know, man, I'm going to go right off and say it. Dr. Seuss was not a part of my childhood at all.
Like, I don't think it was for me either.
Which is weird. The books came out in the 60s, but like, I remember seeing them as a kid, just like, that was kids stuff.
Yeah, I remember when the Lorax movie came out telling somebody, I don't know what that is, and them being confused. Like, what?
Like, I know we didn't have those books in our house. So by the time I was seeing them, I was in school and I was already reading.
Right.
So I was like, that's for 3-year-olds. You know?
Yeah, I think if they were in my youth, it was so early that I don't remember.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense. Yeah. So episode starts. Marge wants to go to like an adult Halloween party, and all 3 of the kids have the mumps.
Yeah.
Maybe the only thing I really got a kick out of here. I was like, good way of writing the mumps into the show.
no kidding. Lisa has had the mumps before.
Yeah, you're
on
right.
This show.
Yeah, we've had the mumps mentioned before.
Got to get those kids their MMR.
Yeah. And Marge really wants to go to this party, and she leaves the kids in the hands of a maniacal humanoid thing on like a unicycle called the Fat in the Hat.
Yeah, it's Homer.
Yeah, it's so then it's just like him, you know, because he's all full of whimsy and fun. He gets the cow. You can't just sit inside. Let's go out and have fun. And it's kind of them. And I like the premise of this, like things. Oh, this is silly and look at all the things. And then it just gets more and more dark. Like,
Yeah.
Wait a second, we're killing people now.
Yeah. Oh, the Cat in the Hat is murdering people. Yeah.
And everyone's an animal, like or like is some kind of.
They're like Seussified.
Yeah. Because we get Mr. Burns kind of like as a bird.
Yeah, like a weird vulture bird.
Yeah, like and
Who they kill and serve to the homeless.
Yeah, Burns is ripped. He's murdered and given to the bums to eat, which that was awesome. And then it just that's kind of when things really go off the rails. Just people dying all the time. I think Mole maybe gets cheese to somewhere in there.
Yeah, with a fucking straight razor, and then he's wearing him.
Yeah, you're right, because he's some kind of furry creature.
Yeah, and the kids, that's when the kids are really starting to be like, what?
I think it's really Lisa that's like, at this point we have to escape, because we have no say in this fucking spree kill, what we're going on right now.
Psychopath, yeah.
So they end up, they escape to catch a ride with a few other like kind of Seussian animals. But when they get home, fucking Homer, Fat and the Cat is waiting for them. And it's, oh shit, and he's out of his mind. It's going to end poorly. And then fucking Maggie just ices him with an umbrella to the heart. Just fucking simple, boom. Just like a folded up umbrella. But fucking, you got a sharp one. You could kill someone with that.
Oh, sure. Know? Yeah. Penguin style.
Yeah. And that was about that.
Yeah. I assume since the Lorax shows up in this, that this was around the time that movie would have come out.
Totally bet.
So Seuss was kind of in the public brain, you know, at the front of the brain.
Yeah.
I could do without the rhyming.
Yeah.
But I did like the whole like, oh shit, this thing's killing people. We gotta get out of here. That was kind of fun. Certainly violent, which we don't always get in the treehouse anymore. So
you're right. Yeah, that definitely leaned into the violence in that first one. I just thought of it though. The one thing of Seuss that was part of my childhood is, and I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but it was cartoons and we could watch it. Was the Grinch Saves Christmas, because they aired that on Antenna TV every year.
Never seen it.
Really? Yeah. What were the other things that would get aired for during the holidays? You had. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Like the old claymation or whatever it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then there's a snowman one. Frosty the Snowman.
Sure.
And then the Peanuts one.
Yep.
And then the Grinch. And then back in those days, you got the Garfield Christmas special.
Okay.
That hasn't lived on to become a yearly, decades-long tradition, but
sad because I love Garfield.
And that was pre-Garfield cartoon, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not by much, but a little bit, like a year or two. Yeah.
I've never seen any of those things you just listed.
No shit. And you would have had one of the 2 channels you would have had would have been CBS, yeah.
Or Christmas Story. I've never seen a Christmas Story.
Yeah, but that makes sense. You almost had to have had cable to watch that.
Yeah, I don't really like Christmas stuff. I don't like Christmas music. I don't like Christmas movies outside of Nightmare Before Christmas, but that's more of a Halloween movie than anything.
A Christmas Story is a fine movie, but they fucking ruined it by showing it for 24 hours in a row.
That's
it's stupid.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, I remember as a kid, when I was little, when we still had cable, that'd have been like 86, 87, 88. Christmas Story seemed like it was 20 years old. That movie was like 3 years. That came out in like 83, 84. Like,
yeah, but it's one of those, like, since it's set in like the 60s, it's you think it's older than it is.
They capture that well.
You know, like Porky's is that way, or what's the Fonzie show?
Happy Days.
Happy Days is that way. Grease is that way. You know,
like
all of that stuff set in the 50s and 60s that you think is made back then, but it's not.
I bet if American Graffiti, if you didn't know those actors, that puts you in the proper times. Like, oh yeah, he would not have been. He was 5 years old in 1958. This is clearly made later. You know?
Never seen that either.
Movie I didn't see till late. I assumed I wouldn't like it. A very good movie.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Huh. Especially if you like old cars.
I do.
But it extends past that even.
Okay.
Too. Like it's a good drama.
Wait, cars of the 50s and 60s?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in.
Just a lot of hot rods.
Some rocket bulb tail lights.
I think you get a pre-fame Harrison Ford. He's just boyfriend, like tough guy boyfriend character, you know, like.
So pre-Star Wars even.
I think that came out like 74, 73.
Right on.
So yeah. I'm trying to think of other examples of Apocalypse Now, but that was right around Star Wars. So
is Tom Hanks or
Harrison Ford's small role when when Martin Sheen's character's kind of like debugging himself in that hotel room after doing some crazy ass mission. He's one of the guys that comes in to tell him about the next mission. Just in a fucking military fucking suit, you know. Here's the dossier, whatever. That it's like fucking goddamn Indiana Jones.
I'll be damned. I've never seen Apocalypse Now either. So
that's not a good date movie. I'll tell you that right now. If you ever, that was your goal.
Well, lucky, good news, everyone.
We will see
not
them.
A problem.
We will. Instead of driving to this art house theater to watch a 45-year-old movie, let's go see the Minions, babe. They're cute. They sure are.
I've never seen anything involving Minions. This makes it sound like I'm a fucking crate baby who's never seen a television before.
You're 25 years old and you're created in a lab.
Yep.
The second of the 3 tree houses is Dead and Shoulders. And what is the second, if not third, parody of the movie The Thing with Two Heads, which not a big movie to begin with. So they're really leaning into it. Yep.
We've done heads sewed onto each other already.
Multiple times. Yep. So I think it's Bart has a box kite and he's really enjoying it. And he's flying too close to the airport, this and that, and Milhouse warns him, and Bart, of course, dismisses him, and it does lead to Bart being decapitated. And he wakes up in the hospital, and who is he attached to? No other than famed younger sister Lisa Simpson.
Decapitated by Arnie Pie, Eye in the Sky.
Oh, yeah, that's Arnie. Oh, yeah.
We haven't seen him in a very long time.
Or if we do, it's just a quick him getting into a fiery accident.
Yeah.
We rarely get like a long-running Arnie Pie in the air scene anymore.
There's a parallel universe where Arnie Pie is on this show way more.
He's what Kent Brockman is now.
Yeah, he's on the show as much as Kent Brockman.
Yeah, at one time early on, he was featured a lot.
Yeah.
So Bart finds out he's attached to Lisa's body. The two kind of have to learn how to live as one. The way it works is Lisa still has control over the limbs.
Yeah.
So she's pilot, he's co-pilot.
Exactly. He's just kind of along for the ride.
Yep. So this is like Bart really struggling with it because he just basically is forced to live Lisa's life. Homer's moved on. He's already turned the bedroom, Bart's bedroom, into a man cave. This is probably around the time man cave was becoming a term.
Yeah, I hate that phrase.
That fucking idling snowmobile.
I have written down idling snowmobile. In
oh God, I laughed heartily at that. Just on blocks. Like,
why do you have that inside?
Yeah. So Bart is forced just to do Lisa shit, which obviously that is not Bart's cup of tea. But I think one night Bart discovers that he can fully function once Lisa's asleep.
Yeah.
So he just fucking starts doping her up with Ambien or something like that and goes living his best life.
Putting it in her yogurt.
Yeah. And then I think he realizes, why do I keep doing this when I can just dope her up and I can fix the mistake?
Yeah.
And she wakes up to them on like a fucking James Bondian log splitting conveyor belt.
Yeah. And
the plan is Bart's leaning over, so it's going to chop Lisa's head off. So Lisa wakes up. There's a bit of a skirmish. And I think, does Lisa kind of talk him into like having mercy? Or maybe she tries and it fails. And then she just outwits him.
Yeah.
And he gets his head cut off instead.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then Lisa's all excited, but then she ends up getting decapitated with a very dangerous sawmill.
Yes, very.
There's too many flying.
Too many saws.
Bart wakes up and he's now attached to Patty and or Selma, and Lisa's attached to Krusty, which that wasn't a bad ending. Like,
yeah.
Could you tell the difference between Patty and Selma?
Nope. My note says Patty or Selma.
Yeah.
And then we get Dr. Nick.
Oh yeah. Yep. You're right. And he's attached
to Hibbert.
Yeah.
And then that's the end of the episode.
It's forgettable, but
super forgettable.
Yeah.
There's a great joke earlier though, where after Bart realizes that Lisa, when she's asleep, that he runs the show. After that, but before the sawmill, he has a first attempt to cut Lisa's head off, where he ties her head to like a fire hydrant and his head to the back of Skinner's car, and then like, when Skinner drives away, it'll pull like Lisa's head will be ripped off and me and the body will go this way. Mm-hmm. And it cuts to Skinner trying to start the car and his mom is in the passenger seat and he's going, the car won't start, and it just keeps turning over. And she goes, "You start a car as well as you start a family."
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And what does he tell her? Like, he makes an excuse why he has to leave.
He goes to get jumper cables, but then just exits the car and lays down in the fetal position.
Yeah. And she like notices and calls him out about having a panic attack.
Panic attack, huh? I'll give you something to panic about. But holy shit, you start a car as well as you start a family is very funny.
Yeah. Jesus, Mrs. Skinner's a piece of shit.
Jeez.
A mean lady.
What a fucking bag.
The third and final of the Treehouse of Horror is Freaks No Geeks, parody of the 1932 horror film Freaks, which I think you watched
for the first time
on a Hell's Bells.
Yep, just last year.
That recently, huh?
It's very fucking good. It turns out
90-year-old horror movie, which
it's very good. It's on HBO Max. You should watch it if you haven't. It's an hour long.
Really? That's short, huh?
Yeah, I think that's real weird.
Interesting, yeah.
And like, you watch it now and it's not like there's nothing in there that will like shock you as a modern, consumer of media. But
that ending is off-putting.
The ending is fucking buck wild. And like, you just think to yourself, people must have been out of their minds seeing this in the 30s.
Shit. Yeah. I wonder if movies were shorter back then, because back then, like, you go to watch a movie, there would be 7 minutes of newsreel, like
see how our boys are doing over there.
Yeah, and then a cartoon short.
Yeah,
and then maybe like a Little Rascals type short, and then the movie would play.
Well, also from what I understand, I think Freaks had about 20 minutes cut off of it because it was like, you can't put this in a movie theater. What are you doing?
God, I'd like to see some of that footage.
Yeah, the movie's very good.
Yeah,
I liked it a lot.
This short starts when we get Marge and Homer as circus folk. Marge is a trapeze artist.
Yep.
Homer, strongman.
Yep.
Okay.
I love the aesthetics of 1930s carnivals.
Yeah.
The tents, the strongman onesies that they wear. I love that aesthetic.
Did you go to any circuses as a kid?
Probably. I don't know. None that I remember. I remember in my 20s having to deal with the circus when I was with the radio station.
Oh, yeah.
Like, come out and, broadcast live. And then I remember once they were like, you get to be the guy that's like, welcome to the circus, at the top of the show. And I was like, okay, I can do that. And then, like, as the show's about to start, they lead a fucking elephant out, and they're like, okay, so you'll ride the elephant, and then you go out there, and here's what you say. And I was like, absolutely not. I'm not fucking riding an elephant. So one of the other guys from the station did it.
Really?
I was like, I'm not doing that. No.
Jesus, that's a weird thing to do as an adult.
Yeah.
There's no way to gracefully ride an elephant.
Yeah, unless you're a child, you can't look cool riding an elephant. Unless you're like Hannibal crossing the Alps,
or like
to
She-Ra,
take
the
down
Jungle
Rome.
Girl, or something.
Like you got to be a warrior to look cool riding an elephant. Me though, just whoompa, just on the way out there. No, I'm not fucking getting on that thing.
Yeah, man. I don't know what that's a way to end up on World Star. You know, like sliding off, it grabs you by your pants, and your pants and underwear come off. And then it like accidentally kicks you real hard, so you let out a high pitch wheeze.
I can end up on America's Funniest Videos and Faces of Death all in the same clip. It's just where you cut the footage.
It's like two of your DJ bros and your tombstone in the seats on America's Funniest, just clapping.
Watch his pants fall down and then fall off of this elephant, but cut it before it kicks his head into section B.
If you want to see how that ends, go to rotten.com.
Shit.
So we see Marge and Homer, and we also get a good look at my favorite part of this whole episode was how they made the Springfieldians into like circus freaks, like you had like Lenny and Carl or the Pinheads, and then I can't even think of who else was what. But Mo was just Mo.
Just Mo. Just regular Mo.
And we've already seen that Homer has disdain for the freaks, but he overhears that Mo has some kind of like fancy emerald ring or something like that. Like,
it was his mom's.
Yep. And Homer's had is, hey, we get that ring from him, like we can ditch this and go either live a better life or whatever, go to a better circus. And how are we going to do that? That's his pride. George's like, you're going to marry him. Like how so? Because it's that way we can get the ring from him once you guys are married. And,
once he passes away.
And Marge is very skeptical. And then I think, I don't know if she's just naive. I don't think she realizes that the plan is to kill Mo. So she's not a fan of that. So, but he has convinced Marge to do it so that they can get the emerald. And Marge catches him, and he kicks him out of the trailer. How was he going to kill him?
Poison. He poisons his champagne.
That's what it is. Yep. And so Marge can't go through with it and banishes him from the trailer that they're in. And this is when it becomes the end of.
Yeah.
It's raining out, lightning and thunder, and all the freaks are slowly kind of encroaching on him in every direction he turns. That's where they're at. And then that's when he is attacked and taken over by the freaks. And just like in the movie, you don't see it happening, but you see the results. they tar and feather Homer basically.
Yeah,
which,
and cut all his limbs off.
yeah, so he's chicken boy, you know.
Yeah.
Which that's the most off-parting put in the movie when they make that the beauty queen woman a fucking chicken
reveal?
woman.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's fucking
Buck wild.
unpleasant. Yeah, what did that movie do to audiences in 1932?
Yeah,
Like,
they must have lost their minds.
that's so oof. Well, that guy's first name was Todd. I guess I heard the guy that made Freaks. But then it cuts in Simpsons fashion. It cuts to the Simpsons at home, and Homer's just now chicken boy.
Yeah,
you know,
just part of the family, but a chicken. Yep.
Which by far the best of this bunch. But
For sure. I don't think it's even close.
yeah, that's the bar was set pretty low. But I mean, I don't know.
We also get we get it so rarely. We got a Feeble Burns earlier in that one when he's like the carnival barker, and
the hat's
Smithers
too heavy.
puts the fucking top hat on him, and he starts to crumple. Feeble Burns.
Yep, so good that a top hat is more than his body can handle.
Yeah. Oh, and this ends with like Homer sitting on the couch, full chicken, and he goes, "And that's how I met your mother," and then it plays the "How I Met Your Mother" theme song over the credits.
That's weird when they just like that happened a handful of times. They just usher in a completely unannounced pop cultural thing like that. You know, like
You ever watch that show?
once or twice.
Yeah, I sat down once several years ago and powered through the first like 3 seasons because I really like Jason Segel.
Oh yeah.
But I was like, this.
Forgettable.
It's like he's not on this enough for me to keep watching.
It's weird that a show like that would caught on. Well, no, fucking. I'd say that crowd seems young for CBS, but that the average watcher of that show was probably someone in their 40s. So,
I'm sure, yeah.
Because same thing with Big Bang Theory; those guys are young too, but like.
And Neil Patrick Harris also very good on How I Met Your Mother.
And that Allison Flanagan or whatever her name is, redheaded lady,
redhead from American Pie. Yep, she's
good
in that.
too.
She's funny. Like. There's lots to like in there. It just wasn't for me.
The main guy just kind of seemed, but he's probably also supposed to be more of the straight man too.
I
but
also
like,
found him really fucking unlikable.
Yeah, I think that's a common thought with that show.
It's tough to like a show if you don't like the main character.
Yeah. If you don't want him to succeed,
It's a big part about why I hate The Office. I think Jim Halpert is a fucking asshole.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. The little I've seen of that show.
God, he's the fucking worst, and he's the hero?
Yeah. Just 'cause
But to be fair, there are no heroes on The Office.
Yeah.
Everybody sucks on that show. Episode 3 of season 25 is 4 Regrettings and a Funeral. Good title. I'm into the title. Boy, right out of the gate, in the intro is Bart standing in front of the chalkboard looking sad, and all that's written on it is, "We'll really miss you, Mrs. K."
Yeah, it's like, oof.
Oof.
Yeah. Wondering when it was going to come.
That was a tough one.
Yeah.
Still haven't addressed it in the story,
No.
but that's apparently where that voice actress passed away.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's coming. I'm sure they have a lot of them in the can.
She
already.
shows up here, or not here, but in this batch, I think she says one sentence in this whole batch. So
That sounds right.
we had a Lord of the Rings couch gang. Seems late, but Lord of the Rings, I guess, is kind of timeless. So, or maybe The Hobbit was happening
Yeah, that
around
could
now. You know, I don't know. I never saw any of the Hobbit movies. I don't really care for the Lord of the Rings movies. They're fine.
Don't do much for me at all.
Like, I can appreciate the scale, the the grandiosity,
the work that went into it. Yeah,
totally. But they're largely not my thing.
Yeah.
We are at the funeral for Chip Davis, the most beloved character from The Simpsons. I like this joke that they're all pretending that he was such an integral part of everyone's lives, but you, the viewer, have never seen him.
Yeah. The editing him into major scenes.
Yep, that was fun. So Lovejoy's up there talking about regrets and living without regrets, and Bart, of course, being a hellion in church. He does that insane prank where everyone goes to kneel, but he's tied all of them to all the knee bars, padded knee bars, to a string, and he pulls it, and everyone just hits their knees, goes straight to the floor. And Joe Namath is like, "Oh God, all that rehab for nothing." Voiced by Joe Namath. What the hell? And Marge gets to thinking, "Oh God, is Bart messed up because I listened to Kiss when I was pregnant?" What a thing to think that you did.
And what a thing to crave during pregnancy.
Kiss's music.
The music of Kiss.
Yeah. So we get like 4 main stories here, and what do these people regret?
Yeah.
Marge regrets listening to Kiss because she thinks that it fucked up Bart. Brockman regrets being in this town, and we mostly follow him. I feel like he's kind of the A line that we go through. Homer regrets selling his Apple stock for a bowling ball. It like flashes back to him being like, "Sell it, I gotta buy this rad bowling ball." And Burns regrets like a heartache that he has from a lost love, this Parisian lady named Lila. Or Layla, I think Lila.
Yeah, I think you're right with Lila.
We get young Burns. He mentions Paris in between the 2 wars. Yeah. The timeline of his age is
baffling,
all over the place.
Insane.
He fought in World War I.
Yeah,
we've seen it.
He is 120 years old at least.
And I got such a good laugh. They do the like she's like sprawled out on the couch and he's sketching her, and then it like flashes to modern day, and he's standing there with his sketch pad being like, "And all I have is the drawing," and it pans down and it's just a stick figure with big cans. Just this horrible child's drawing. Oh shit, that was funny. He tried to propose to her, and she said, I'll marry you if you promise to set aside 5 minutes every day for other people to think of the less fortunate. And he's like, absolutely.
5 minutes. He
won't give up 5 minutes a day. And as such, he missed out on a lifetime of partnership with this woman. We follow here Kent Brockman's storyline. He and Rachel Maddow were co-anchors way back when his hair was black and he was thinner and younger. Rachel Maddow gets quite a bit of voice acting work here. I don't know anything about her other than I could point her out in a police lineup.
As some cable news show.
Yeah, I know she's on MSNBC. That's all I know. So back then, when they were co-anchors, they were doing some investigative reporting. They found a giant pile of tires in the forest, and it turns out that's where Krusty was hiding all the tires from the defective Krusty cars that were like blowing up and killing people. That's where he discarded all the tires. And Rachel Maddow was like, I'm going to go and expose this and then go on to be on cable news. And Krusty was like, Brockman's not going to do that. He knows where his fucking bread is buttered. So Brockman stayed, Maddow left, and that's the root of Kent Brockman's regret. And then also, Krusty throws his cigar into the tire pile and it starts on fire, and he's like, that'll go out in like 20 minutes. So we get the origin story of the Springfield tire fire, which is fun. 25 seasons in. Why not? Then we get back to Mr. Burns. His private investigator has found Lila. She's still alive.
So very old, just like him.
Yep, and living as a Buddhist nun.
Yep.
And Burns, the PI goes to like, there's the matter of my fee. And Burns hits the button to open the trap door, and Burns falls through it and goes, "Who moved my desk?" Such a good joke. That someone moved his desk so that he falls through the trapdoor. That's fun. Kent goes to the big city and goes to Fox News in order to be a cable news anchor. And they show him, they do that insane joke of like, oh, here's how we do it here. If a Republican is in trouble for something, and it shows some Republican senator being like, oh, I didn't know you couldn't fuck a cow at the Capitol building or whatever he's saying. The guy has a remote and he presses a button and the R turns into a D and then Alabama turns into California and that's it. That's how Fox News works. I like that this Fox show takes shots at Fox News. I think that's fun. Always
the Simpsons have been around a while.
Yeah, they can get away with some shit. Kent not on board with this. Kent has his scruples and is not going to play along with this. We get Bart in he's got a laundry basket that he's tied a bunch of balloons to, and he's going to go flying, and he does. So he's floating through the air, scared, in a laundry basket. We get Burns in a hotel with Lila. He has found her, and they're in a hotel or a motel, I suppose, getting all fucking steamed up in this motel room. And then he goes into the bathroom, and Smithers is waiting outside, and he's like, hey, do I take the rhino horn or the tiger tongue first? And then is like, oh, never mind. I'll use my pump, and fires up a fucking air compressor. Jesus Christ. Like an old-timey tank air compressor. Oh, God.
And what were the elixirs?
Tiger tongue and rhino horn were the two aphrodisiacs.
Which do I take first?
Yeah, first. He's going to take them both. And the fact that he has a penis pump that needs a fucking industrial air compressor.
You need 220 to run it. Yeah.
Holy shit. Good jokes. He comes out, and Lila is dead on the bed. She has died waiting for him. And he goes, oh, perhaps the kiss of life. And he gives her mouth to mouth, and she turns to dust. I love that Burns is so toxic.
Yeah.
Oh, God. And then he takes it to heart a little bit, and we see him. I think it's Smithers who brings up, wouldn't it be a good thing to do to keep her alive by doing what she would have wanted? And then we get Burns serving soup to hobos out on the sidewalk for doing his 5 minutes a day. And then Smithers comes and is like, 5 minutes is up, sir. He's like, I think I'll give it 5 more. Like, what a weird, sweet Burns all of a sudden. And then I don't quite know how we get here, but Wiggins. Bart's in the
shoot him down some way.
Yeah, Bart is in his balloon basket, and Wiggum says something along the lines of, because Marge is like, this is because I listened to Kiss, and Wiggum is like, no, like my wife listened to Mozart, and Ralphie turned out how he turned out. And at one point he goes, Ralphie's even scared to flush because he thinks it's his brother. Yeah. Ralphie thinks that his own poop is his brother, and so he's afraid to flush the toilet.
And there's a good gag to where Lou is like, oh, yeah, that kid's a mess.
Yeah.
And Wiggum immediately snaps at him.
Yeah, hey, only I can criticize him. Like, I like that Wiggum has a little, sticks up for Ralphie there. But holy shit, the kid's afraid to flush. He thinks it's his brother. Is very funny.
Yeah.
So how are we going to get Bart down? Frink wants to use this cannon, but we're all out of cannonballs. We melted them down into this Joe Paterno statue. Yeah. But then we changed it to be Eugene Levy. Yeah. And it's just a statue of Joe Paterno, but they put a fucking flag in his hand that says American Pie. Yeah.
That is great. That's
insane joke. Yeah. So good. So the stories converge here. Homer shows up with his bowling ball and stuffs it into the cannon, and they lob it up into Bart's basket.
1 in a million shot that would have to be.
Yep. And he floats safely down. And then maybe my favorite joke of the whole episode, Lisa comes running up while everyone's like, yay, Bart, yay, Bart. Lisa comes running up with a big blue ribbon and is like, I won the science fair. I get to go to Chicago. And no one even notices her. And she just joins in like, yay, Bart, yay, Bart.
That was good.
It's so funny. And then we get a long montage of iconic scenes from The Simpsons, but with Chip Davis inserted into them.
which was another good idea.
Yeah. I didn't have a ton of like hope for this episode when it first started, but I ended up liking this one.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You're right. For this kind of episode, it's better than you would assume going in.
It was one of those, the episode as a whole I don't think is that good, but there sure are a lot of good fucking jokes in it. So, like, I ended up being on board for this one.
Up next is episode 4, YOLO. Episode starts with Milhouse and Bart on some kind of like play date, hangout thing.
Yep.
And just leads to violence. They're horsing around with like is it like a race car track?
Roller coaster.
And Milhouse finally wants to be the first one to do something because he never is the first one to do anything, which, goddamn right, Milhouse. You got to stand up for yourself at some point.
He does. Good for him.
And it kind of ends with just them and like, they've been around each other too long, and Marge sees that. We're calling Kirk.
Yeah.
Getting Kirk to come pick you up. We get some good, weird Milhouse things like, he gets something he eats, makes him break out in hives. He's all swollen up.
Marge is like, did you eat a peanut? He goes, no, but I sniffed a nectarine earlier.
That's what it is.
Unbelievable.
And he's like, don't worry, I've learned to breathe through my tear ducts. He's like sucking air through his eye holes.
Oh, my
so
God.
Ridiculous.
And Homer's text message to Kirk is like, hey, loser, come over and get your loser son. Yeah. Jesus, Homer.
And Kirk does show up. Does he ever?
Yeah.
Holy fuck. That right there alone puts this above most episodes.
Completely midlifed out.
Yeah. Has like a Mercedes convertible, is wearing fancy clothes. And
he has Mercedes convertible, Mercedes sunglasses, and a Mercedes watch. Like, he clearly just got everything at the dealership.
And Milhouse is very excited about this. Who wouldn't be, you know? And he's like, oh boy, you got me a skateboard. Like, no, that's mine. And he makes him sit in the back. And he also makes him rub like leather protected on the seats while he's back there.
Yeah.
And poor Milhouse is crushed. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, sports cars not big on back seats.
Yeah.
So
if a 10-year-old boy can't fit back there, you have problems.
Yeah. God, the visual of Kirk Van Houten.
Yeah. So
all midlifed out.
So good. And Marge is busting, you know, she thinks it's silly and ridiculous, and she's having a good laugh over it, you know. And right away, Homer kind of does too. Like, oh, who does he think he's fooling? This is, you know, like someone's having a midlife crisis. And Marge starts laughing, just starts talking about, like, you know, we don't have to worry about that with you, Homer, because you love everything just the way it is, because it's going to be like this the rest of your life. And it's just him staring off into the distance, and then it's them in bed, and his eyes are wide open. Like,
you'll always be the same. And you'll have the same job and the same family, and you're okay with that, as he's just staring into the bathroom mirror,
brushing his teeth.
Oh, shit.
So well done. We have a B story. Kent Brockman, has an investigative reporting piece, reveals a cheating scandal at Springfield Elementary.
Yeah.
Is it one of the bullies is getting the answers from
Mrs. Skinner?
That's what it is. Yeah. Like, so insane.
That
like,
security footage of Principal Skinner he puts the answer key under his pillow, and then the camera pans out and he's sleeping with his mother, first of all. And then she, pulls the answer key out, hands it to Nelson, who's outside the window, and he gives her a bottle of booze for it.
She's an elderly woman. She can get her own booze.
Unbelievable. Yeah, but she doesn't get to also torture her son.
That is a good point. Very good point. So I'm going to say right now, this episode already shaping up to be fucking kick-ass.
Yeah.
Like, good. When fucking Nelson's at that fucking window, Jesus Christ, I was laughing. And does he let out a really soft ha-ha?
Yep, on his way down the ladder.
Cut back to Homer now down in the dumps, and he's talking to Marge, and reveals how he used to have a pen pal who he would share his dreams with. I think he was in Spain.
In Spain.
Yeah.
Eduardo.
And he gets talking about that. Like, he wanted to do this and this. I wanted to be king of Cheeseburger Mountain. I just don't know if they're making mountains out of cheeseburgers anymore. Maybe I just got old. Like, he's real down in the dumps for that
Maybe
whole...
a little of both.
Yeah.
God. I kind of like depressed Homer.
Yeah. What was it? They had a choice between foreigners or homeless people, or no, convicts.
Prisoners. Yeah.
For their pen pals. I remember doing pen pals in school.
Yeah, I think I did too. Around about 4th grade, maybe 10 years old, had something you did in class.
Because I remember sending mine off, and the way we did it is you sent off to a person, and then someone totally different was going to write you. So it was a way you had a chance to have 2 connections.
Okay.
Double your chances of having one that sticks.
Okay.
The kid I sent shit off to, I sent that motherfucker baseball cards. I didn't get shit back.
What a dick.
And then I never got anything back until like 3 years later. I'm now in junior high, and this girl writes back, and it's like, wants my phone number? Like, I am not ready for this. First off, I think my old man would do if we got phone calls from the Philippines back in those days. 700, our phone bill's twice the mortgage.
Probably not a fan.
That lady was she was 12 too, I'm sure. Very interested in American culture. I remember that.
I remember, we had that, which I barely remember. And then our 3rd grade teacher, when we were, 8 or 9 in 3rd grade, we did message in a bottle, where you had to bring a plastic bottle to school and write a letter and then roll it up, put it in the bottle. And then the teacher went and threw them in the river. And then it was and then we'll see who gets it. I don't know if it was meant to be fun or why we did this, but for whatever reason. And some people got them back, most people didn't, but one of the fucking neighbors down the river found mine. I remember that much. But looking back on it, that's just a teacher throwing garbage in the river. That is just littering. Damn it, Mrs. Strom. Yeah. You made us accomplices to your crime.
That was one day she could go outside and she'd have to stand in front of a marker board and explain, I don't know what she taught, but...
all of 3rd grade. Yep. It's not like everything. You teach a subject.
Yeah, she didn't have to teach you multiplication tables that day.
She was the one I remember had the best disciplinary thing. On the board was how many minutes recess is. I believe it's 20. And then every time somebody acted up, she would erase it and subtract a minute. So now recess is down to 19. You want to keep up your luck? You want to keep up with the smart mouth? 18. So by noon, you could theoretically lose all of recess.
Yeah. That ever happened?
Oh, yeah. We had too many kids. 16 was too many.
And all it takes is 2 or 3 dipshits to ruin it for everyone.
And we had 2 or 3 dipshits, for sure.
But then didn't the rest of the class turn on the dipshits?
Yes, occasionally, for the most part, it worked and we policed ourselves. Yep. But sometimes, springtime comes around and everybody gets a little fucking yowly or she's just having a bad fucking day and starts taking them off 2 at a time.
She's just flipping shit over there.
God damn it, I want to litter. She's just compulsive litterer.
Making all the rules. Cut back to the B story. During a school town hall PTA type meeting, they discussed the cheating scandal. Goddamn, Springfield's up in arms over this, which, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's very ridiculous. Fucking Skinner is just a wreck. He's laying on he tries to speak, but he's a mess.
Yeah.
And that's when Lisa steps forward. I think fucking Chalmers is like, why didn't you do this sooner?
Well, you really made us wait to save us, Lisa. Yeah. He knew this was how this was going to go.
8-year-old girl is the one she's expecting to save them. And Lisa's whole thing is kind of the honor code. Let
the kids rat on the kids for cheating.
And it right away it works. And I get it too. That way, what you said that teacher did, that's smart. Because that gets you then you're not laughing at the shithead's antics, because those antics have a detrimental effect on you. Were you ever one to cheat in school at all?
No, God, no.
Yeah. Not that I was above it. I just didn't care enough.
This is going to sound real fucking back patty, but I was one of the smarter kids in our class, so I never had the need.
Oh, there were times I certainly should have cheated.
Like, if I were to lean over and look at Levi's paper, he's doodling a dog.
It's just Chevy bow ties.
Right, yeah. He's just drawing the Chevy bow tie over and over again.
Chevy rules with a Z. Spell it out.
It's like, Levi, it's Woodrow Wilson is the answer to that one.
Mopar. Yes.
Never a thing, really.
Like the risk of getting in trouble I'll just take an F, like I'll just dig an L today.
I'll just earn the F, honestly.
Yeah. Like I'll figure a way out so I don't fail the class, but today I'm going to fail this class.
Well, like if a kid fucking popped me in the ribs and was like, Marlon, let me look. Like, sure, man, I don't care. What good's it going to do you?
Yeah, right? Nothing's going to change in your life depending on how this test goes.
Right, yeah. Especially if it's something like math, because it's like, yeah, okay, you got the number, but you haven't shown any work. Like, there. what do you, you're just tattling on yourself now, bro.
Marlon, show me the work. Okay, write down 24 times X, but then scratch it out.
Yeah.
Then 24 divided by X.
Unbelievable. Yeah. I don't remember cheating really being much of a thing, just in general.
I remember in college one time in like a entry-level history class, someone had got their hands on the answers and had photocopied tiny little sheets. I don't know, half or a third of an inch by 2 inches long with microscopic print with all the answers on it. And people just taped it tightly around their pens. If you held it by that, you didn't even notice it. You just glance. It was fucking.
That's pretty fucking sophisticated.
Because we're like, why the fuck are all these dum-dums finishing this test way before I am? This is a class I'm usually okay in, Like,
were you not privy to this?
No, I could have. I saw them all horsing around with something. I was like, yeah, whatever. I think I'll do okay on this test.
Sure.
Yeah. That's probably the most ingenious cheating I ever saw.
That means they also fucked up the curve for everybody.
Yeah. That's a good way to become popular on campus.
Yeah, ace everything so there's no curve.
Oh no, becoming just complaining about that. You guys. So cut back to Homer. Marge sensed that something was off with him. So she, like, hey, we're going to get rid of this malaise. She invites Eduardo, the old pen pal, to fucking see Homer. Must have kind of clued him in because Homie has taken care of all of his wants in life. Like he's really grabbed life by the horns. But he wants Homer to do the same. So that's kind of where this episode goes now. And I really enjoy this. So he just kind of moves in with the Simpsons and helps Homer cross off items off the to-do list, which is good. Like he looks at the list they made as kids. And like some of it's like, well, I had to get rid of some of these because one was like strike out Jesus
in the World Series. Yeah.
So it's just them doing things. I'm trying to think of some examples. Just like, I don't know, skydiving or this. Well, skydiving comes in later.
Right,
like,
yeah. There's a handful of pretty basic ones. Ride on a fire engine.
Yeah. That might be one of the very first ones they do, yeah. So he helps Homer sort of knock off some items off the to-do list. I think they're like 10, I think is the age that came out when this was created. It's around this time because I think he is kind of watching them. Oh, because they're in bed, and Marge now kind of has a little bit of the dumps, and she's like, "Well, what did you want to do as a kid? You never got to do." It's like, well, I always wanted to jump on the bed, but my mom would get mad, my sisters would get mad. It's like, let's jump on the bed now. Marge is reticent, but Homer, so they're jumping on the bed, and then it cuts to the outside. It's nighttime. There's Eduardo watching them in the window, and like. Kind of like, job well done, Eduardo. And then that's what fucking Ned, with the flashlight, sees it, a strange man outside at night, goes and confronts him. And right away, he's like, and just who are you? He's fucking neighborhood watch. And he's like, hello, my name. And he's like, oh my God, I think I have the quote here. Oh, That sounds salty, but you seem so sweet. I'm going to call you kettle corn.
It's so good.
An insane thing for one grown man to say to another grown man.
Because what Eduardo says when he asks, well, what are you doing here? He goes, I'm watching my childhood friend and his wife pleasure each other through their bedroom window.
That is right.
Or pleasing themselves, I think, or pleasuring themselves. However he says it, that's Ned's reaction.
Fuck, good call.
That
You're
sounds
right.
salty, but when you say it, it's sweet. I'm calling you kettle corn.
Oh, fucking Flanders.
It's so good. Not enough Flanders these days.
No, we better run here where there hasn't been much.
I have a feeling something bad's going to happen to his wife soon.
I think so. Lisa's honor code system is working well. All the kids are doing their work and just fucking, even the bullies, everyone's really falling into line. And I think she accidentally grabs the wrong backpack is what happens. Because like, oh shit, this is Bart's backpack. And she notices he has 100% on all of his assignments.
Yep.
And she's like, what is she? It dawns on like, what? You're going to cheat? But you know, like this is working so well. You can't. She's like, oh, I can cheat. And he's like, no, you can't. I'll turn you in. Like, you can turn me in, and you're going to prove that your system's a failure.
Yep.
And Lisa has to pause, which so rarely happens. So Bart's giving her something. It's like a moral debate in her head now. Pretty and like she's like, why don't you put this level of thought into your studies?
Fair, fair question.
Because that's very well plotted out by Bart.
It's
like
extremely dubious.
Yeah. Oh my God. So yeah, just her like, why wouldn't you just put this work into being a good student? But Bart's gonna Bart, you know. So meanwhile, Homer and Eduardo are really going for it, knocking out more of Homer's bucket list. And this is when we get into kind of like, I don't know what air gliding? Wingsuiting, there we go. And they got those on, and Homer, very scared.
Wingsuits are terrifying.
Yeah. So I think he was like, 10-year-old me didn't understand things. This is not for me. And then Eduardo's like, nope, gives him a kick in the butt, and he goes flying. It does look terrifying. Eventually, he catches the hang of it, though. But with those gliding suits, it's not like you're meant just to glide softly to the ground. You're supposed to. You got to parachute for a fucking reason.
You do parachute for the end of it, I think.
Is he going to land? But then he's just having the time of his life flying through.
This sequence goes on all along.
Yeah, like gets far too close to the ground. Like he's flying by shit. Like goes right by the Duff Beer Zeppelin. And it's all fun again. And he fucking hits a skyscraper face first.
Yep. Just slams into it.
And just him bouncing and hitting the next couple levels. And then the wind catches, oh my God, I'm saved. Crashes right back in, bounces down.
So dumb.
Like, you would evaporate as a human the first contact with that wall. But Homer is made out of Play-Doh, so of course, I mean, he's fucked up. Ain't no way around that. Like, he's rushed into the hospital, and
after he lands on Bart.
Yep, because Lisa has came to Bart. Lisa's an emotional wreck.
So good.
Obviously hasn't been sleeping.
I love disheveled Lisa.
Because so rarely does she not have the upper hand. And and she's like, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to convince you to turn yourself in. And Bart's like, why would I do that? Like, this is the perfect plan.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's going to take an act of God for me to turn myself in. That's when fucking Homer lands on him. It's like a crater. Like,
both of those humans would be goo.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Lisa just walks into the crater. It's like, had enough of a sign of God for it? It's like, I guess it is. It's like, like I could stand to catch up. I've been neglecting the detention quilt. Him and all the bullies working on that quilt was so good.
I like that Bart just knows when he's beat. Yeah. That's one of my favorite things about fictional characters that real people don't do anymore is just be like, yeah, you got me.
Yeah.
Everyone just digs in deeper and digs their heels in and fights.
It gets more and more ridiculous. Yeah. So now cut to Homer at in the hospital. I think he's kind of realized, oh boy, I got to scale this back a little bit. He walks in. Actually, now he's convalescing at home, and he wakes up in bed. He finds Eduardo just waiting with his luggage at the edge of the bed, like, "Hey, you promised me a ride to the airport."
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, man, this guy's helped turn your life around. You get like, I mean, one thing though, he did just almost die. So
fair.
Yeah, maybe someone else could give the ride. And Homer's like, I guess. It's like, but he's like do I need to like drop you off at the curb or can I just park in the lot and you can walk? And I think his line is something like, just do whatever your heart tells you to do. And he's like, fine. And a real sweet ending. It's just them two walking through Barcelona.
Yep.
So he listened to his heart. He not only did he take him to the airport, he went to Barcelona with him.
Visited.
And he's like, you're a good friend, Homer. It's like, that was a touching episode.
Yeah. I would have thought a nice opportunity for a big-time voice actor or something for Eduardo. Nope.
Yep. Yeah, I know you say that. That voice did not ring any bells in my head.
No, it just seemed like, I would have thought they'd have gotten somebody for that. But
I really enjoyed that episode.
I kind of could have taken or leaving the Homer stuff. I like the Bart B story. But yeah, the Homer bucket list thing, I was like, whatever.
Like not so much the lab, but like there's some good music at times and stuff like that.
It is a nice episode, you know?
Yeah.
I think we just came off an episode about people living with their regrets, and then we had an episode where Homer wants to live with no regrets.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is...
Yeah, when you started doing your episode, I was like, the prior one was like, wait a second, like, am I got shit out of order? I was like, no, they put kind of two similar ones back to back.
Yeah. There's two good laughs I had in here that you didn't mention. When Eduardo first shows up and he's all handsome, he's all fucking Spanish and dashing. He goes, is Homer around? And Homer's like, I'm Homer Simpson. And Eduardo screams and goes, oh my God, did your hair burn in a fire that trapped you in a candy factory? Very funny.
Yeah.
Very funny to get Homer's hair and weight all in one go. And then when they're having that furious town meeting about the cheating scandal, and Nelson's mom stands up and goes, what kind of example is this setting for my boy? And then it pauses a beat, and then her tube top just falls down. And she doesn't even react, and neither does everyone else who's just staring at her. Like, Nelson's mom's tits are such old news that no one even reacts, including her.
Yeah. Anything involving her is going to be good for some laughs.
Yeah, I like anytime we can get Nelson's mom on screen.
There's a similar thing where it's like, I think she's chastising the Simpsons for something, because there's one of those episodes where weirdly Nelson likes Bart. That's something about like, I want my kids raised in a family environment, and she's wearing a robe and her panties just hit the floor.
You can see that woman. God bless her.
Fucking trash pile of a human.
Episode number 5 is labor pains. Not to spoil right up top, but maybe my least favorite of the bunch.
Okay.
Homer is at a poker night over at Carl's with the barflies. It's Mo and Lenny and Carl. Homer cleaning house because Lenny has mirrored shades.
Yep.
So Homer can see what cards they have.
Is this the most poker we've gotten in an episode of this show?
Kind of feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I can't remember another one. And Lenny has that dumb fucking hat that says like flaminghotpoker.net or something.
Like he has a sponsorship for his home game.
Yeah. Very funny. Homer goes to leave. He has fleeced them of all their money. And he gets in an elevator, and it starts going down, and a woman is there in the elevator with him, this pregnant lady, and she's in labor, and then the elevator stops, and it's dark, and the lights come back on, and Homer ends up delivering this lady's baby in this elevator. B story, we got Milhouse at a football game with Lisa. Milhouse, he keeps swinging, you know?
Yeah, he sure does.
God bless him.
But I'll use a little more Milhouse.
And I love that there is a player on the field who bullies Milhouse. Because Milhouse is like, great seats, huh? You can even hear the players curse. And one of the players, like, you hear in the distance go, hey, screw you, Milhouse. I love that
they're picking on a 10-year-old boy.
Grown man athlete who bullies this kid. So much so that he knows his name. During a break in play, we get is it the Adams, the Springfield Adams?
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
The cheerleaders, the Adamettes, show up, and they do a number where they bring somebody out of the crowd, and it's Lisa, because of course it is. Lisa not into this, but it goes over well. And then we find out that the cheerleaders are paid absolute garbage by the Texas Oil Man. I like that he's the team owner. Of course he is. Gives them each $50 and goes, there you go. That should almost cover your parking.
Which I think that is a true thing. I don't think the dance teams make shit.
Absolutely a true thing. NFL cheerleaders are paid nothing.
I think it's around this time there's a scene where Kirk Van Houten selling peanuts.
Yeah, he's a peanut vendor
and
at the
Milhouse
stadium.
hollers for him like, Dad. He's like, you can't act like you're my son. They say if they know the peanut vendors have children, it's too sad. Jesus Christ, that's depressing.
It's very funny though. It dawned on me during that scene that I've never been anywhere that has a peanut vendor. I've never seen, hey, peanuts or hey, hot dogs. I've seen like the guys with the big pop coolers on their backs at like hockey games, but that's
okay. You go to a Twins
or a
game.
rodeo maybe. Big rodeo will have the guy with the pop.
Yeah. I think any Twins or I think any NFL game you go to.
I've never been to a pro sports game.
Yeah. I remember the one football game I've ever been to, I had shit seats in the far fucking corner of the end zone, a mile off the ground. And there was a chubby 20-something-year-old kid walking those steps, carrying that food. I was like, you are God has hated you so much because you're obviously putting the work in because that is a calorie-burning life.
Yeah.
Just walking up and down those guys, it's like climbing a mountain with a pile of hot dogs in front of you. And you're still shaped like a fucking potato. Like, just like, good God, man. Like,
I mean, the problem is the pile of hot dogs in front of you.
Getting paid in dogs. Yeah.
Stone Cold Steve Austin said, you can't out-train a shit diet.
Yeah.
Like, you can't. It's the hot dogs that are the problem.
Getting paid in canned chili. Chili dogs didn't sell last quarter, so we'll pay you boys in chili meat.
Oh, boy. Just the chili broth. Just the wet part of the chili.
Yeah.
No chunks, boys. Just broth.
Just big industrial cans of refried beans.
All right.
I mean, I'm behind, or I'm all for it.
I'm not the hugest refried beans guy, but
I'm a beanie boy.
I like refried beans if we're at a proper Mexican restaurant and you kind of stir them in with the rice and all that. But like just a fucking bowl of canned baked beans,
just a fuck you pile of baked beans.
Yeah, or refried beans.
Yeah, refried beans.
I'll eat a fucking 5-gallon tub of
unfortunate
baked
amount
beans.
of baked beans.
Yeah, I don't care about my body. So the cheerleaders paid trash, as you said. That's absolutely a thing. NFL cheerleaders make like $50 a game. It's horrible.
Yeah.
I think who was it that was? I think the first time I became aware of that was Charisma Carpenter. She played Cordelia on Buffy and Angel.
Oh yeah.
I believe she was a San Diego Chargers cheerleader.
Oh okay.
And I think back in like the early aughts was the first time I heard that because she was talking about it in an interview. I was like, well, that's bullshit.
In a Stuff or Maxim magazine, probably.
Yeah, probably.
I remember her being featured heavily.
Maybe in
those.
FHM.
Yeah.
It was a big day when she was in Playboy because I love Angel.
Oh, yeah, she was. She did Playboy. Yeah.
Like well after Angel was over. Like did not capitalize.
Get that last,
horrible timing, but get that last bit.
I bet when she did that, she was still able to get enough cash for that where she was able to pay off a good chunk of her house.
Yeah, good for her.
Yeah.
I always liked her on that show. Never watched Buffy, but I do like Angel a lot.
Never seen either.
Oh. Angel's like, what if Batman were a vampire?
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Oh, no shit. Okay.
Homer ends up back at Carl's place to play poker and meets up with that woman. She is Carl's neighbor, and she's all, oh my God, thank you. Homer delivered a fucking baby in an elevator, so of course she's like, thank you. Turns out she named the baby Homer.
Yeah.
A horrible name for a child. And then we get Homer babysitting, and he keeps, like, originally he was lying to Marge about where he's going.
Yeah.
Because he was going to play poker. Now he's lying because he's spending a ton of time with this child.
Yeah.
And Marge like bumps into him at the grocery
store
or at Swapper Jack's.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's buying all this baby stuff.
Yeah.
And she goes, "What is going on?" Trying to get to the bottom of this. And Homer goes, "Oh, you know how those first few weeks are. It's walking around bleary-eyed and not really sure where you are, or lost track of time." Marge's like, "The first few weeks of what?" He goes, November. I don't know why, but that really got a hold of me.
That's good.
Because he's trying to lie about where he's been. So Marge, very suspicious of Homer. Meanwhile, Lisa clues in the cheerleaders that they're being super exploited because, like, she's like, "You guys, they sell these posters and these DVDs and you don't get paid. Plus, all your practices are live streamed." And it pans around showing all the not at all hidden webcams. And Lisa unionizes the cheerleaders. Good for her. Of course she does.
Yeah.
The Texas Oil Man, not into this, not going to give in to their demands at all. Meanwhile, Marge goes to Carl's house because she realizes that Homer isn't at home on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah. That's a good gag.
Which, of course he's not. He should be at work, but Homer doesn't go to work anymore. So she's like, well, he must be at Carl's playing poker. So she goes over there. Carl is practicing massage on a mannequin. Yeah. He's like, no, I'm just learning how to taking this massage course online at home on a mannequin.
And just how casual he is about it. Because why not? You know what? You want to learn to massage through the mail? Go right ahead.
Yeah. And Marge is like, well, where could he be? And as she's in the hallway leaving Carl's, she hears Homer over on the other side going, "Oh, baby." Yeah, like real like sex sounds or whatever.
Yeah. And it gets really good. It's like, "Roll over on your belly. What noise does a cow make?"
I loved that. Okay, now roll over like I taught you. Yeah. What noise does a cow make?
Good God. That was one of my bigger laughs in this episode.
And then Marge comes in and she's pissed. And Homer's like, "Oh, I'm just hanging out with Homer Jr." Not the thing to say.
Yeah.
And that woman is there. And there's a baby named Homer Jr. that he's spending time with. And Marge is freaking out. And I was like, I immediately, as this started to go, I was like, this is dumb. This is a dumb gag. Nip this in the bud right now. I don't need one of these fucking, we're going to spend the next 12 minutes of Marge misunderstanding what this is. Yeah. But it cuts to commercial pretty quick, and then we come back, and Marge has been filled in on what happened here. But it's still pissed. Not a fan. Yeah. Like, Homer, you can't hang out with this baby all the time.
You have your own baby.
Yep. Meanwhile, the cheerleaders are striking. We get a fun song that I think is a Woody Guthrie. Mm-hmm. Is that guy's name? Yeah. The cheerleaders are all on strike. Meanwhile, Homer, still wanting to spend time with this kid, and Marge still being pissed about it, is like, "I'm taking all 4 of my kids to the zoo."
But that's not your kid.
Like, Homer is in the wrong, but Marge is also overreacting, I think. Yeah. Like, Homer, stop this. But Marge has gone, like, Marge is choosing the nuclear option before she has to, kind of thing.
Which, in her defense, she's shared a home with a man that does nothing to help raise the kids.
Fair.
So it's like, give me a fucking break, dude.
Yeah. So Homer takes all 4 kids to the zoo. I love when Maggie mean mugs people, and she is just mean mugging baby Homer in this like double wide stroller.
Though their interactions are good.
Yeah. And they get ice cream for the babies, and the Homer baby keeps eating Maggie's ice cream. She keeps slapping the shit out of him.
Just big open hand slaps.
Hell yeah, Maggie. This is when Homer's like, he's like making fun of the monkeys in the cage to get them all riled up. And baby Homer pushes Maggie's stroller down the fucking hill. So Maggie's on a runaway stroller, headed for the prairie dog exhibit. And Lisa being like, "Oh God, if they accept her into their warden, we'll never see her again." I love that idea. That if the prairie dogs at the zoo get a baby, they raise it as their own. I like that gag a lot. Maggie ends up stopping the stroller with like a dino grabber.
Yeah.
And then Marge is done. Marge is like, you're done. You're never going to see that baby again, Homer. God damn it. So Homer gives the baby back and is like upset, like distressed. But then when he gets home, there's Maggie with her stroller and her doll, and she gives the doll to Homer to take care of, and then she gives her dad a big hug, and that wraps it up.
And we also find out that the husband is back too, or the
the actual father of that baby.
He was overseas, I guess.
Yeah. I didn't like it at all.
Going over this, I really did enjoy this one. There were some good gags and like. Just like the side things when he'd be going to take care of that baby. Or one time I think he plans to go play poker, but things are so out of hand. He's like, I don't really need to. Because it's like, I think it's Lenny trying to leave. And then Mo like throws playing cards and like murders him.
Yep.
And he gets out there. He's like, you see what you did? He sees his like, he has a full house.
Yep.
Like, he's like,
and Mo leaves chips and goes back inside.
Pours some chips and leaves.
On the poor dead Carl.
And then one time Mo is just taking the door off. If you couldn't afford to gamble, you shouldn't gamble your door.
Yeah, if he didn't want to lose it, he shouldn't have bet it. And he walks off with his fucking door.
Oh, good God, yeah.
Yeah, I just think this episode is dumb. Like, it's dumb how attached Homer is to this baby, and it's dumb how mad Marge is about it. Like, I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. I wasn't into it.
Good use of Cats in the Cradle. Got that a lot during the Homer and Homer Jr. scenes.
Yeah, we get that insane Itchy and Scratchy cartoon.
Yeah.
Where the mouse finds a baby cat in the basket on his stoop and raises it all the way up through college graduation and then just blows it up. Blows up his cat son with a bomb.
Yeah. Insanity.
A bonker. We don't get a ton of Itchy
like
and Scratchy anymore, but that was a straight up Looney Tunes one.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I got enough laughs out of this that I was engaged.
Well, I'm glad.
Yep. One of us was.
I am.
Usually I'm the sourpuss.
Yeah. I don't know what it was. This one, no thanks.
Our final episode of The Badge, episode 6, The Kid Is All Right. Get a real involved intro.
Real long couch gag.
Kind of like a Looney Tunes, Merry Melodies-esque.
I had to look up what this is. This is apparently a parody of Disney's Silly Symphony. It's even called Silly Simpsony, I think, is what it's called. Like all the people are music instruments and Burns only wants classical music and he's an oboe and everyone else wants fun jazz and I
think Lisa leads them in the jazz revolution.
It was fun. I liked this.
Yeah.
It goes on a long time.
And I mean, we don't get any of the traditional, like, there's no like Bart chalkboard. It just goes right into this.
Yeah, into this. It is very cartoon, but I think that short is from like 38 or something. So you look at it and you're like, yeah, that looks like Steamboat Willie style animation.
Kind of like the simple where they're all dancing in the same pattern the whole time. Like,
big on like, noodle arms and all that shit. So yeah, I liked it. I thought it was very cool.
And the episode itself begins with Lisa sad and friendless during lunch hour. A common thing for Lisa. Just her down in the dumps while all the other kids are having fun. She goes back into the school. Eventually, fucking Bart is like up in the goddamn lights shooting spitballs at her. Like she's running from him and he's like fucking relentless, just shooting spitballs. And finally she gets refuge in the library. I like how the library is like fucking poison to Bart.
Yeah, she holds up a copy of Little Women and he hisses and runs away.
Like he could never open that door. Like, so she's safe in there. Oh my God, just to show how boring Lisa's. She has her own study corral.
Unbelievable.
I hadn't thought of study corrals in a while.
I had never heard that phrase before. So
we had a couple beat up study corrals in our library. Like,
is that what you call the desk with sides to it? Okay.
I guess that's all it really is now that you say that.
Yeah, it's just a desk with little walls on it.
Yeah, which, I don't know, man, what were they for? Like,
studying, I suppose. You can't be bothered.
Yeah, that's true.
Kids can't cheat.
Yeah. They were just throwing piecemeal around our library, just like we hear. I guess you just want to get out of the chaos and read a book.
Yeah, there were a few here and there in our school too. Yeah, I don't know that anyone ever preferred them or anything.
Thinking back to the quality, these were old. Like, they were not new study crowds. I'm guessing there was a time in the 60s where they were cranking a lot of them out.
Yeah, probably some leftovers.
Yeah, a lot of wood in ours.
Ours were like particle board. I don't mean to brag, but ours were probably a little fresher than yours. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So she's found refuge in the library. She's looking through the books. I haven't been to a library in a minute. I was thinking about that.
I drive past a library every day because there's one less than 2 blocks from my apartment.
Close, yeah.
And I've never been in there. Oh, that's not true. I went and donated some books. I was clearing out my bookshelf. I was like, because I'm not a big reread a book thing unless it's real fucking good. Yeah. So I had a handful that I had read that whenever I am done with books and they build up a little, I donate to the library. So I went in there just like a month or so ago, and yeah, it looks like a fucking library, I guess. Certainly cleaner and more modern looking than the last library I was in, but
had a roof.
I was like, y'all got computers, huh?
Look at this. That's I think the scourge of the library is fucking homeless people. Yeah, just screaming into their fucking their Walmart jitterbug phone as they're looking at the internet. Sir, there are rules. Lisa finds a friend in the library. I think her name is Isabel.
Yeah.
So then they really hit it off because she's kind of an overachiever type like Lisa, likes reading, and they share a lot of similar interests. And then I think they're back at home and the phone rings and it's Isabel, and Homer answers it. It's like, may I ask what the reason for your call is? It's just like a new friend.
Yeah.
Well, by all means, Lisa. And he looks at Bart. How come you don't have any new friends? It's like, what's wrong with the ones I got?
And it's Milhouse.
Poor Milhouse getting dunked on.
He comes in. I finally got that M&M out of my ear.
Yeah. And Homer immediately puts it in his mouth. Which I like Marge taking it off his tongue and putting it back in Milhouse's ear.
Pushes it slowly deep into Milhouse's
and he doesn't
ear.
Resist at all. He just stands there, takes it.
God damn it, Milhouse.
Yeah. So Lisa's up in her bedroom talking to Isabel, and we get it like, and Marge is hollering up. It's like your vegetables are ready. It's like that's okay. They're cold vegetables. Well, someone you really love heated them up and put butter on them. It's like, well, okay, I'll be down. Whatever, Mom. You look, it's that Mr. Bergstrom,
insane
dude, from what? Season 1?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, season 2 at the latest. Like,
played by Dustin Hoffman.
I haven't seen him this whole time. He just pops in.
And that was like a heavy episode when he left. Like, what a fucking monumental thing this would be for Lisa.
Yeah, and it's never addressed.
Yeah, I laughed so hard because Marge is just like, well, Mr. Bergstrom, I'll tell her you stopped by.
Yeah, my God.
Holy shit. That he would come back 23 years later.
Yeah, a quarter of a century later.
Insane.
Oh, my God.
That was a great joke.
Yeah, and Lisa and her new friend are working on a history project. It's about FDR. And it's during this that she realizes Isabel is not quite the same as her because she's very right-wing. She is not a fan of FDR or his policies, and finds out she's a neocon. It's like, are you I can't remember what the first person is. That like a Lincoln Republican? Nope.
Yeah, Lincoln Republican.
A Reagan Republican? Nope. George Bush Sr.?
Well, you're getting closer. Yeah.
So she's a modern, real right-wing neocon, which just destroys Lisa. She does not know how to handle this at all. She's down in the dumps. I think it's Marge finds her. It's like, okay, come up. Be like, I think they have the attic, maybe.
They're in the attic,
and shows a picture of her hanging a Reagan Bush sign
in their bedroom.
Yeah, like a big banner.
Yeah.
All excited. Yeah. And it turns out, people change over time, and she might change too. And she also finds a Thompson Twins tape that she played.
So good.
We were sitting in a what a random like minor hit band to pull from, you know, like.
Is that "Don't You Want Me, Baby"?
Yep.
That's a good song.
Yeah, that ain't a bad song at all.
Wait, no, isn't that Modern English, or what am I thinking?
No, Modern English is "Melt with You."
There we go. Yep. All right. Well, I'm glad we got our fucking.
Everyone was on the edge of their seat.
Glad we got our new wave one-hit wonders sorted out.
But guys, who sang "Tainted Love"? Soft Cell.
Soft Cell. There we shit. That was gonna bother me. I was gonna say the Eurythmics, but that's the other band that Manson covered.
Yeah, that's their "Sweet Dreams." Yeah.
Sweet Dreams. Yeah.
I think if you dug a little deep, the Eurythmics might have a couple other songs you recognize too. I don't think they were quite a
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I mean that was their big hit. Lisa decides to run for class president. She notices that Isabel is on the list. It's her nice handwriting. Isabel's a fucking Ralphie. Like the bottom third of the page.
Yeah.
God damn it. Fucking Ralphie's the best.
Not enough Ralphie on this show.
Yeah, there's been a real low Ralph run in this last batch or two.
Not enough Ralph, not enough Ned.
Yeah, but you know, I think we just came off a run in season 24. We had a lot of Ned. So I think it
oh, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because with him getting with Krabappel.
Yeah, and wherever we go from here with that.
It's coming.
Oh.
We haven't seen it in a while. We get a glimpse of the Republican Transylvania headquarters.
So good.
Because they're realizing that, hey, we got to get younger, you know, this. And like, oh, well, there's this. They have cameras everywhere because, of course, they do. They find out about this Isabel, who's a young Latina right wing. It's like, oh, my God, there's everything we need in a candidate.
Yeah.
So I think that they bring her up there, or do they go to her?
They bring her to, what is it, Phineas Q Buttercup?
Yeah, like an
ice cream parlor.
Yeah. And Burns is trying to explain, like, hey, we think you have promise, and like nothing will get you on the right foot than winning a tainted election. Like,
yeah,
that'll just get your feet wet on shady politics. And she's a woman of conviction, of honor. Like, nope, I want to win it on my own. I want to win it by my own merits. And it's like, okay, fine, you know, whatever.
There's a moment where she goes, "You couldn't buy me with a wheelbarrow full of ice cream." And in the background, you see the squeaky voiced teen wheeling a wheelbarrow of ice cream towards the table, and he just doesn't even break stride, just turns it around and goes off screen.
And then eventually, though, it comes back.
Yeah. He has a Zamboni, a tiny Zamboni.
And that's when it's when Burns has Smithers. Smithers, I need you to eat this for me. Eat it all.
And describe every flavor.
Get the brain freeze.
Sir, you know I'm lactose intolerant, and I'm back-talk allergic. Son of a bitch. I love Mr. Burns.
Oh, my God. So Isabel's going to run her campaign and that, but Burns and Smithers, hey, it's like, because kind of at this time it would have been when, like, you know, campaign finance was a big thing. And like, now we can have super PACs so rich people can pay off elections.
Money is free speech.
Yeah.
And corporations are people. Yeah. And that was the end.
Yeah, burn it all. So that's Burns pumps up. There's giant signs everywhere with Isabel, like, for a second grade, I believe she is.
Class rep election.
Second grade class rep. And Lisa cannot compete with that. She's kind of down in the dumps. And that's when she realizes if they go low, I got to go lower. And she enlists. I love episodes where she has to go for Bart. Like,
she has to sink to his level. Yeah.
When he is just ready for it, you know, like, okay, I knew this was coming. Here's what we got to do.
That scene right before she goes to Bart, when she's all down in the dumps and she's having like tea party, but it's a bar, and Maggie is the bartender.
Yeah, cuts her off.
Yeah, cuts her off, and she's
what's
like,
the matter? It's imaginary. Like,
fine, I'm out of here. And she's like throwing on a trench coat and a fedora, goes stumbling out of there.
Maggie draws a picture of her as a do not serve list.
Yeah, and Maggie's got a bow tie and is just like cleaning an imaginary glass the whole time.
And like Lisa talks to one of the stuffed animals, like, come home with me tonight. And fucking Maggie rolls her eyes, like, keep dreaming.
I love bartender Maggie. Big fan.
That was very good. So now Bart is on the case, and he's gonna help her become kind of like ruthless, and they do like a practice debate in the garage.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do if this happens, if that happens, and stuff like that. And I think Bart's kind of wondering if Lisa has what it takes to, pull it off.
Yeah, to play dirty.
Isabel's got her shit together.
Yeah.
But one morning, Bart excitedly goes into Lisa's room. He's like, look at this. This is what we're going to use to win the election. It's like, she's using training wheels. Which
she's 10 and she still uses training, 8 and still uses training wheels.
Which that would have been something you would have caught shit for.
Absolutely.
And then she eats shit and falls.
And
so
cries.
Cruel. So cruel. And Lisa's doing the Mr. Burns excellent fingers.
It's so good.
And then she's like, wait, I don't want to become this person.
And she panics. Untent. Like untents her fingers.
Yeah. And she's like, Bart, I appreciate everything, but your services are no longer needed. You're fired. And then we get Bart at Maggie's bar.
Maggie's, yeah.
And he talks to a stuffed pig. It's like, man, tonight you ain't gonna be looking half bad. So ridiculous.
She mimes pouring him a shot and sets the imaginary glass down, and he takes the shot. And as she's turning with the fake bottle to put it back on the shelf, he's just like, leave the bottle.
Yeah, she does. She's
so good.
Yeah, sets down a fake bottle.
I don't know why, but bartender Maggie imaginary bar is very funny.
That was awesome. So she eventually has a dream where she meets she interacts with some famous Democrats of yore, and they're trying to explain how,
who've lost.
Yeah, right. Yeah, except
Clinton.
He shows up. Yeah.
But as soon as she's like, ooh, Michael Dukakis, I'm like, oh, okay, I got it.
It was Mondale, Dukakis, and Carey.
Yep, Carey. And I forget which one. I think it's Mondale is like, when we lose big. Fucking, is it Mondale that did the tank photo that ended his election campaign?
Oh, really?
Because he's like this slight little man, and he has a helmet that's too big for him, and he's in this tank. I think that's against Bush 1 that Mondale was running, and he looks so ridiculous. And
did he try again in '88? Because Dukakis was the one that made it.
Or maybe I'm thinking of Dukakis. I am for sure thinking of Dukakis.
Dukakis is little.
Dukakis is the one in the tank photo. If you've not seen that photo, you really should find it.
Treat myself to that.
That was his. Yeah. And then the campaign is over. Who was that in?
What was that guy's
2000?
name? Not Edwards. Edwards ran around that same time, but I can't. I'm not a fan of that guy, but we don't need to go into a political hot.
No, he's a fucking asshat. But ended his campaign on a dime because he made a funny noise. Yeah. That was the tank photo.
So after having that dream, Lisa calls Isabel, and they both kind of decide, hey, let's just run this on the up and up. We don't need to kind of try to cheat each other. May the best woman win. And they both kind of agree that they'll honor the results of the election. They're not going to complain about everything.
Weird.
Yeah, right? Yeah, the children can come to that agreement. Yeah, but adults cannot. We get a great feeble Burns because Isabel wins the election.
Yeah.
And the victory balloons crush Mr. Burns. It's not like it's a fucking waterfall of balloons. It's normal.
Yeah, they just lightly cascade down from the ceiling.
And they bring him to the ER. It's like, can we remove the balloons? It would kill him.
So good.
So the balloons are the only thing also keeping him alive.
Holding him together, yeah.
Oh, my God.
God, I love it. We got 2 feeble Burnses in one match.
You know what? Life ain't that bad. We get 2 feeble Burnses in one batch. Oh my God. So Lisa, while sad that she lost the election, congratulates Isabel. And the episode kind of ends with a glimpse of Isabel and Lisa having a debate for, I believe, the 2056 presidential election.
Yep. With hologram Anderson Cooper, played by Anderson Cooper.
And it's like Mad Maxian times in a way. There's like robots and monsters and just all sorts the world is a lot different in a rougher place, it seems.
Yeah.
And cut to, is it an elderly Homer and then French horn Homer?
Yeah, his tuba version from the intro.
They're both alive apparently and enjoying things, watching the debate.
And I like the joke that it's 2056 and Anderson Cooper's question is, now what would you do to settle things in Afghanistan? Yeah. That's a good joke.
I didn't even pick up on that. Yeah.
She's like, I would just make it a state.
Yeah. So I thought this was a good episode.
Me too. I like this one quite a bit. Eva Longoria apparently plays Isabel. I don't. That's a name I know and a face I can identify, and I don't think I've ever seen her in anything.
I think what her Desperate Housewives is the biggest
is her thing. Yeah,
I think she was in a couple movies at her peak. Yeah, but you're right though. Like
no idea.
Yeah, never had a huge role after that.
Yeah, I was never. I hate to shock you, but I'm not a big Desperate Housewives guy.
I think she was one of those people too that like didn't get famous until she was in her 30s. Like I think she was maybe on like a Spanish language soap opera or something like that. But like I think she's well into her 30s when she got Desperate Housewives. And, I mean,
that's what that show is about, right?
Yeah,
it's about people our age.
Yeah,
you know?
It's like Terry Hatcher's probably in her 40s. Nicolette Sheridan was probably in her 40s. So
you know a lot of people on this show.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah,
I've never seen.
I've had to write trivia for Desperate Housewives before.
Sure.
I believe, or at least it was discussed. And I looked into it.
Just judging it by its cover from afar, it always seemed like network TV's version of Sex and the City. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It's not going to get as steamy.
Yeah. A little more soap opera. But I've never seen Sex and the City because they're all kind of friends on that show, right?
I believe so. Yes.
I think there's a lot of like friendships destroyed, alliances made, kind of more soap opera,
a little more dramatic.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Well, we did it.
You want to start a Desperate Housewives podcast?
Yeah, this is it. Now I'm intrigued.
You want to start a Desperate Housewives / Sex in the City podcast where we watch one episode of each and then talk about and compare the two.
Yeah. A Sex in the Housewives, I'm just, what's the word I'm looking for? Some kind of mashup.
Yeah. Desperate Sex doesn't sound right. I think Apple's going to flag that if we try to name a podcast.
It's close to home too.
Yeah.
Been there.
Desperate Sex in the Housewife City.
Gee. Rolls off the tongue. Sex Wife City. Yeah.
Sex Wife City. It's my favorite Def Leppard record.
Sex Wife City. Yeah. I'd watch it.
Yeah, why not? We did it, my man. We made it. We made it to the end of another episode.
They said it couldn't be done.
They did. They are constantly saying
Never watch 5 episodes of The Simpsons.
They're like, they can't.
No.
And here we are.
We've done it. Stamina.
We've done it 108 times. No. Take that.
Take that, science.
Stand here and piss in God's eye and watch The Simpsons.
Yep.
We'll do it again next week. We'll do episodes 7 through 11.
I'll watch them.
Of season 25. Why not? Yeah. What else are you doing?
Yeah. This batch turned around towards the end. I didn't mind it one bit.
Yeah, this was a highs and lows batch for me.
For me, nothing was nearly as bad in this batch as that Homeland episode.
Agreed.
1.
I'll agree with that. Yeah, for sure. There were plenty that I didn't think were good, but yes, once you bring perspective into this, this was all better.
None of these were a chore to
episode.
finish.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We'll do it again next week, 7 through 11. What are you doing this week? As we record this, it is the 2nd of July.
Yep.
So 4th of July. If you're American and or celebrate 4th of July, happy 4th of July.
Or if you're Canadian, I hope you had a good Canada Day a few days prior.
Okay.
Yep.
I didn't know that was a thing, but
July 1st is their holiday.
Okay. To our British listeners, probably not a fan of the 4th of July.
Yeah. I think there's probably a good riddance to bad rubbish in their eyes.
I was about to say, actually, if they're
out the trash.
If they're watching us now, they're like, thank fucking God they left the party. Everything's awful, set it all on fire. It's a tough time to celebrate being an American.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. It's a real active time.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Good word. It is things are active.
Things are very active right now.
Minnesota said you can have edibles, so we can go get edibles.
And they're kind of weak sauce, though, from what I read.
You just eat more of them, is all.
And I'm gonna get the sugar beaties. Gonna be fucking. You're eating so many Sour Patch Kids, your feet are falling off just to catch that one super buzz.
What happened? Oh, Nathan's tongue's all swolled up because he had to eat 4 Sour Patch Kids to get high instead of 1.
Take me to the moon.
I'm a lightweight, so I got no beef with it.
Well, if that's what you're into, go do it. Or don't,
or whatever.
Yeah.
Can you tell we're exhausted?
Right? Yeah, just hitting the wall. You don't know how much we labor at this podcast.
Join us next week. In the meantime, find us on the internet at Barley Basket USA on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. BarleyBasketUSA@gmail.com is the email address. And next week we'll do 7 through 11. Join your friends. Bone broth and country gravy here on America's Barley Basket.
Bye, everybody.